Well, one person listening to that interview and likely, ever more likely to be in Parliament after October the 14th and all the results are in, and a former government minister under Labour is Shane Jones, who is, of course, a candidate for New Zealand, the resurgent New Zealand First. Shane joins us by video link now. Shane, I first just want your reaction to the pain that David and the small Jewish community in New Zealand are clearly feeling.
Yeah, good morning. A monstrous act, Sean, savage barbarity. In fact, looking at the images on telly and receiving messages from people that I know in the Jewish community, and having actually been to that part of Israel myself, it is beyond rational comprehension. Not only the level of savagery, but obviously the planning, the malevolence, and the evil that lies behind this attack. Because this attack was not on military establishments as such. It was on a bunch, amongst other things, of teenagers and young people celebrating life, enjoyment, fellowship, and it's had these devastating consequences, mate. So I can totally relate to the pain and anguish reflected in David's delivery.
Do you think our government's response and our political response has been adequate?
I'm on record as describing Nanaia Mahuta as grossly ill-suited to the role of Foreign Affairs Minister. And I don't need to repeat how inept the woman is for this role, but she sunk to a new low when she couldn't find the words on behalf of you and I, liberal, peace-loving, conscious of the important balance between protest and savagery, and she said nothing. In fact, not only was her remarks deeply misguided, it betrayed the underlying sentiments that define you and I as Kiwis, who will not tolerate, should never tolerate this level of savagery.
All right. The Māori Party, I'm not aware of made any comments. Let's get into political parties. The Greens, well, Goras Garaman surprisingly has condemned the terror, though the Greens seem to be, let's be fair, on all sides. I want to come to this remarkable statement from the Islamic Council of New Zealand. And when this first happened several days ago, I said I'd look forward to their statement of empathy and support for the victims of terror attacks, as the Islamic community is the only group in New Zealand that has suffered such an attack in recent times. What do you think of the statement they put out yesterday, which does not condemn the terrorism, and instead, from the reaction I've seen to it, clearly suggests that Israel brought this on themselves?
Well, the best thing that one could say about that statement is not only tone deaf, it too betrays the essential principles upon which New Zealand runs its society. If there was ever a time for a group that has suffered the barbarism that we saw in the South Island several years ago, it was today. But of course, these groups are unwilling to call out such murderous acts because they themselves are hooked into a broader global network who not only challenge the existence of Israel to exist, but more importantly, they profit on the back of the liberal democratic norms and principles that you and I take for granted in New Zealand, and use that as an opportunity to spout all sorts of offbeat, irrelevant, and dangerous types of perspectives. And I'm very, very disappointed that in New Zealand, that particular organisation did not call out with candid, and unambiguous language, the total unacceptability and the destruction of all the norms of civilization in terms of what happened to those young families, those children, and quite frankly, garden variety civilians in Israel.
Mm.